Hi, everyone. Thank you. I can finally see the presentation at the City Hall. I was against the wall and I couldn't see any of it. I love it. I'm completely supportive of saving the space and keeping the building and the playground. I wonder about the housing, and I wonder if we're trying to make a pitched effort to save this place, should we try without any housing first? Is there a reason why the housing exists in this plan?
Paul, would you like to take a stab at that?
Well, I am as an architect and a developer, I am a builder of houses. I believe in revitalizing our established communities. That's part of community planning. And as I said before, when you remake a community, building new is a big spark. We have so little land to redevelop in Cleveland Heights. Most of my work has been in the city of Cleveland or other larger core cities than first-ring suburbs, although I've done a lot of work in first-ring suburbs. But like, for example, our neighbor Shaker Heights is predominantly built out like we are. And if you look at what they're building today, they're not just building that to raise taxes. They're building that to enhance their image and their identity. They're doing that because they're very wise about understanding how people assess the community they choose to live in or work in, bring their business in. We have to support this business district. And I think the void that exists along Euclid Heights in a commercial district is not enhancing the businesses, okay? It doesn't provide the edge, the physical edge, nor the activity. People walking on sidewalks and coming in and out of their homes and supporting the businesses. The homes will also generate tax dollars. People will pay taxes, both income and property taxes. The homes will also generate revenue for the park and the community arts center building. Okay, this is one piece of land that is currently consolidated. A business plan is being formulated that would allow the lots to be subdivided, sold, and much of that revenue could come back to help fund what Lee was talking about, the greater mission. All of that to us is good. Remember, we're very early. This is conceptual, and this is a little different idea. Not that it hasn't been done before in other places. It hasn't been done in Cleveland Heights, certainly. But I've done a lot of housing that 15 years ago, people said, nobody's going to buy that, and they're buying it. There was no townhomes in Northeast Ohio, and I've built over 200 market rate for sale townhomes throughout the Northeast Ohio region. So this is only 22 homes, and I can't imagine that there aren't 22 buyers that would want this lifestyle. And if there aren't, we won't sell them. They won't sell, and if they're not pre-sold, they won't get built. So I can tell you that we feel pretty confident that we're on the right track. And it also works here because we really don't want curb cuts on Euclid Heights, and we don't want driveways on the property with rear parking garage. We don't want any of that. So if the housing doesn't work, it won't happen. Create an environment where the activity of the residents and the activity of the park users, which is anybody who wants to come here and use it, coexist wonderfully. We're talking about lighting. We're talking about wayfinding signage. We're talking about people supporting the park because they live there, which is a good thing. I mean, common space, when it's done properly, works well when people take ownership of it. And when you visit a place and when you occupy that place every day, you tend to take ownership of it, and somehow human beings tend to take better care of it. So I really believe that that is doable, and we wouldn't propose that it wasn't possible.
Yeah, when I first learned of what you heard tonight about the concept of this housing, I thought this is much more than a bone to the city, because as Paul mentioned, the RFP from the city seems to call for housing. This is something that really does enhance the neighborhood. It makes this neighborhood a place that's going to appeal to and I hate to use generalizations, but millennials. And I just, maybe it's coincidence, but just in the last couple of weeks, I've come across about a half a dozen different articles talking about exactly this concept, that there are young families looking for particular types of houses, particular types of neighborhoods, and they're not finding them in downtowns of large cities, and they're not finding them in inner ring suburbs. And they probably won't find them in the exurbs either, but we have an opportunity to build a neighborhood for the future with this concept. And then, of course, in the short term, the more practical matter is it can become part of the business plan for making sure this building remains an art center and the playground remains a playground for as long as any of us will be.
We need to get this city moving in the right direction. The way we do it is we pick the best site first, and we may create momentum. I work every day with developers and owners of property who could come to this city and help develop places like Coventry or up at Cedar Lee. And they're not coming. And the reason they're not coming is they're not convinced that we are an opening, welcoming community who is ready to develop. This council is trying very hard, and they're beginning to get on the right track. We did very, very well up to the year about 2000 when Ed Kelly was mayor. We did some very good, successful things, and it's fallen behind. Let's be frank about this. This is no criticism of the city or the city council or the city staff, but we, the community, this community needs to help the city move in the right direction. Most things happen because the community wants them to happen. We need to make this happen at Coventry. I believe that Coventry is the first and best site. That does not take away from Meadowbrook and Lee. If we can do Meadowbrook and Lee at the same time, I'm all for it.
Like, I guess the question I have is are the homes part of this plan to appease the city a little bit because they're the ones that wanted to come in and tear down and build homes, or is it a part of a revenue generation to help build up this area? Or, I mean, so that's just my concern as a new resident, that I loved coming into this old culture with people that have lived here for 50 years or 75 years or living in their parents' home, and I'm redoing my century home to keep it a century home. Is that building this stuff for millennials? No offense, millennials, but you know, it's a new generation. I get it. We want to incorporate it, but I just want to be careful how we do it.
Relative to just the idea of what's the rationale for the housing, there's a lot of reasons. Yes, it's going to generate money for the city. It's going to generate money for the P.E.A.C.E campus, and those are good things. Those are really good things, and it can be done in a balanced way, as I tried to illustrate. So it's going to take time for this to settle in for all of us, and this is the first step. We don't have to build a house, but we believe in it on a number of levels. Some of which I've talked about as an urban designer and as somebody that believes in creative placemaking and mixing old and new together. I have a personal track record in working in old neighborhoods and historic preservation. I don't work in non-established communities, so I'm always working with old things. And really, the trends have been, especially from the National Park Service, and we don't know what the architecture is going to look like yet. We don't know that. They're contemporary because they're new. What they look like, we don't know yet. Might they be little Victorian dollhouses? Personally, I hope not. What I'd like to see is something that blends beautifully, transitionally into the wonderful, iconic styles that were generated at the time these neighborhoods were built, but are of this generation, because that's who we are. We have to leave our mark, and we have to do it meaningfully, and we have to do it purposefully, and we have to have the best people involved, because great designers do great design, and we can't settle for less than that. I was at the top of the O meeting, and I said to the architects at the table that were sitting there, if anybody was there, we don't know you. You're coming to our community to design for Minneapolis. Well, that's great, but who are you? Are you equipped to design in Cleveland Heights and our great Cedar Fairmount district? Well, that carries over here as well, and we will ensure you that whatever we plan and design and develop will be totally transparent and exposed to the public.